The Social Security Retirement Age. Updated January 8, 2021. Summary. The Social Security Full Retirement Age (FRA) is the age at which workers can first claim full, that is, unreduced Social Security retired worker benefits. Among other factors, a worker's monthly benefit amount is affected by the age at which he or she claims benefits relative to the FRA. Benefit adjustments are made based on the number of months before or after the FRA the worker claims benefits. The adjustments are intended to provide the worker with roughly the same total lifetime benefits, regardless of when he or she claims benefits, based on average life expectancy. Claiming benefits before the FRA results in a permanent reduction in monthly benefits to take into account the longer expected period of benefit receipt. Claiming benefits after the FRA results in a permanent increase in monthly benefits to take into account the shorter expected period of benefit receipt. The FRA was 65 at the inception of Social Security in the 1930s. Under legislation enacted in 1983, the FRA is increasing gradually from 65 to 67 over a 22-year period, for those reaching age 62 between 2000 and 2022. The FRA will reach 67 for workers born in 1960 or later, that is, for workers who become eligible for retirement benefits at age 62 in 2022. Currently, the FRA is 66 and 10 months for workers who become eligible for retirement benefits in 2021, that is, workers born in 1959. Workers can claim reduced retirement benefits as early as age 62, the early eligibility age. For workers with an FRA of 66, for example, claiming benefits at age 62 results in a 25% reduction in monthly benefits. For workers with an FRA of 67, claiming benefits at age 62 results in a 30% benefit reduction. A majority of retired worker beneficiaries claim benefits before the FRA. In 2019, when the FRA was 66 and 6 months for workers eligible for Social Security benefits in that year, that is, those born in 1957, 33% of new retired worker beneficiaries were age 62, 60% were under the age of 66. Workers who delay claiming benefits until after the FRA receive a delayed retirement credit, which applies up to the age of 70. For workers with an FRA of 66, for example, claiming benefits at age 70 results in a 32% increase in monthly benefits. For workers with an FRA of 67, claiming benefits at age 70 results in a 24% benefit increase. In 2019, about 1/4, 25%, of new retired worker beneficiaries were age 66, 15% were over the age of 66. Some lawmakers have called for increasing the Social Security retirement age in response to the system's projected financial imbalance, citing gains in life expectancy for the population overall. Other lawmakers, however, express concern that increasing the retirement age would disproportionately affect certain groups within the population, citing differences in life expectancy by socioeconomic groups. Differential gains in life expectancy are important in the context of Social Security because the actuarial adjustments for claiming benefits before or after the full retirement age are based on average life expectancy. Proposals to increase the retirement age are also met with concerns about the resulting hardship for certain workers, such as those in physically demanding occupations, who may be unable to work until older ages and may not qualify for Social Security disability benefits. For an in-depth discussion of potential changes in the Social Security retirement age in the context of life expectancy trends, see CRS Report R 44846, The Growing Gap in Life Expectancy by Income, Recent Evidence and Implications for the Social Security Retirement Age. Contents. Introduction. 1. Full Retirement Age. 1. Early Eligibility Age. 3. Actuarial Modification to Benefits, Claiming Before or After the FRA. 3. Actuarial Reduction for Claiming Benefits Before the FRA. 4. Delayed Retirement Credit for Claiming Benefits After the FRA. 4. Retirement Earnings Test. 6. Age Distribution of New Retired Worker Beneficiaries. 7. Proposals to increase the retirement age. 8. Proposals to increase the FRA but not the EEA. 10. Proposals to increase the EEA but not the FRA. 11. Proposals to increase both the FRA and the EEA. 12. Concerns regarding an increase in the retirement age. 13. Life expectancy. 13. Health status. 15. Job characteristics. 16. Labor market conditions. 17. Addressing concerns about increasing the retirement age. 18. Possible approaches under the Social Security retirement system. 19. Special rules based on years of work and average lifetime earnings. 19. Special rules based on physically demanding jobs. 20. Possible approaches outside the Social Security retirement system. 21. Supplemental Security Income, SSI. 21. Social Security Disability Insurance, Ssdi. 21. Unemployment Insurance, UI. 22. Employment Services and Training Programs. 23. Figures. Figure 1. Effective claiming age on benefit levels. 6. Figure 2. Age distribution of new retired worker beneficiaries in 2019. 8. Tables. Table 1. Age to receive full Social Security benefits. 2. Table 2. Benefit reduction for early retirement by full retirement age, FRA. 4. Table 3. Benefit increase for delayed retirement by birth year. 5. Table 4. Selected options for increasing the retirement age. 10. Contacts. Author information. 24. Introduction. The Social Security Full Retirement Age, FRA, is the age at which workers can first claim full, that is, unreduced Social Security retired worker benefits. 1. Among other factors, the age at which an individual begins receiving Social Security benefits has an impact on the size of the monthly benefits. Claiming benefits before the FRA can substantially reduce monthly benefits, whereas claiming benefits after the FRA can lead to a substantial increase in monthly benefits. Benefit adjustments are made based on the number of months before or after the FRA the worker claims benefits. The adjustments are intended to result in roughly the same total lifetime benefits, regardless of when the worker claims benefits, based on average life expectancy. The FRA was 65 at the inception of Social Security in the 1930s. As part of legislation enacted in 1983, the FRA is increasing gradually from 65 to 67 over a 22-year period that started for those who turned age 62 in 2000. The increase in the FRA will be fully phased in. The FRA will reach 67 for workers born in 1960 or later, that is, for workers who become eligible for retirement benefits at age 62 in 2022. For workers who become eligible for retirement benefits in 2021, that is, workers born in 1959, the FRA is 66 and 10 months. Workers can claim Social Security retired worker benefits as early as age 62, the Early Eligibility Age, EEA. However, workers who claim benefits before the FRA are subject to a permanent reduction in their benefits. Spouses can also claim reduced spousal benefits based on the worker's earnings as early as age 62. Other types of dependents can claim benefits before the age of 62. 2. Workers who claim benefits after the FRA receive a delayed retirement credit that results in a permanent increase in their monthly benefits. The credit applies up to the age of 70. Claiming benefits after attainment of age 70 does not result in any further increase in monthly benefits. 3. Full retirement age. The FRA was 65 at the inception of Social Security. According to Robert Myers, who worked on the creation of the Social Security program in 1934 and later served in various senior and appointed capacities at the Social Security Administration, SSA, age 65 was picked because 60 was too young and 70 was too old. So we split the difference. 4. On the other hand, SSA suggests that the Committee on Economic Security, CES 5, made the proposal of 65 as the retirement age due to the prevalence of private and state pension systems using 65 as the retirement age and the favorable actuarial outcomes for 65 as the retirement age. 6. In 1983, Congress increased the FRA as part of the Social Security Amendments of 1983, 7. Which made major changes to Social Security's financing and benefit structure to address the system's financial imbalance at the time. 8. Among other changes, the FRA was increased gradually from 65 to 67 for workers born in 1938 or later. Under the scheduled increases enacted in 1983, the FRA increases to 65 and 2 months for workers born in 1938. The FRA continues to increase by 2 months every birth year until the FRA reaches 66 for workers born in 1943 to 1954. Starting with workers born in 1955, the FRA increases again in 2-month increments until the FRA reaches 67 for workers born in 1960 or later. The increase in the FRA, one of many provisions in the 1983 amendments designed to improve the system's financial outlook, was based on the rationale that it would reflect increases in longevity and improvements in the health status of workers. 9. The 1983 amendments did not change the early eligibility age of 62, discussed below. However, the increase in the FRA results in larger benefit reductions for workers who claim benefits between the age of 62 and the FRA. 10. Table 1 shows the FRA by worker's year of birth under current law. Table 1. Age to receive full Social Security benefits. Note, persons born on January 1st of any year should refer to the previous year of birth. Early eligibility age. Currently, the EEA is 62 for workers and spouses. This is the earliest age at which they can claim retirement or spousal benefits. Benefits claimed between age 62 and the FRA, however, are subject to a permanent reduction for early retirement. When the original Social Security Act was enacted in 1935, 11. The earliest age to receive retirement benefits was the FRA, age 65. In 1956, the eligibility age was lowered from 65 to 62 for female workers, wives, widows, and female dependent parents. 12. This was to allow wives, who traditionally were younger than their husbands, to qualify for benefits at the same time as their husbands. 13. Benefits for female workers and wives were subject to reduction if claimed between the ages of 62 and 65. The reduction did not apply to benefits for widows and female dependent parents. In 1961, the eligibility age was lowered from 65 to 62 for men as well. 14. Benefits for male workers and husbands were subject to reduction if claimed between the ages of 62 and 65. The reduction did not apply to widowers and male dependent parents. Although the eligibility age was made consistent for male and female workers, an inconsistency remained in the calculation of benefits. A man the same age as a woman needed more Social Security credits to qualify for benefits, and, if his earnings were identical to hers, usually received a lower benefit because his earnings were averaged over a longer period. This inconsistency was addressed in legislation enacted in 1972, which provided that retirement benefits would be computed the same way for men and women. The provision was fully effective for men reaching age 62 in 1975 or later. 15. In subsequent years, further adjustments were made to the eligibility age for surviving spouses. 16. The eligibility age was lowered to age 60 for widows, 1965, 17. Age 50 for disabled widowers, 1967, 18. And age 60 for widowers, 1972. 19. Actuarial modification to benefits, claiming before or after the FRA. Benefits are adjusted based on the age at which a person claims benefits to provide roughly the same total lifetime benefits regardless of when a person begins receiving benefits, based on average life expectancy. The earlier a worker begins receiving benefits before the FRA, the lower the monthly benefit will be, to offset the longer expected period of benefit receipt. Conversely, the longer a worker delays claiming benefits past the FRA, the higher the monthly benefit will be, to take into account the shorter expected period of benefit receipt. The benefit adjustment is based on the number of months between the month the worker attains the FRA and the month he or she claims benefits. The day of birth is ignored for adjustment purposes, except for those born on the first of the month. Workers born on the first of the month base their FRA as if their birthday was in the previous month. For example, someone born on February 1, 1980, who has an FRA of 67, can apply for full retirement benefits in January 2047. A calculator on SSA's website allows the user to enter his or her date of birth and the expected month of initial benefit receipt to see the effect of early or delayed retirement. The effect is shown as a percentage of the full benefit payable at the FRA. 20. Actuarial reduction for claiming benefits before the FRA. When a worker claims benefits before the FRA, there is an actuarial reduction in monthly benefits. The reduction for claiming benefits before the FRA can be sizable and it is permanent. All future monthly benefits are payable at the actuarially reduced amount. For each of the 36 months immediately preceding the FRA, the monthly rate of reduction from the full retirement benefit is 0.5%. This equals a 6 2/3% reduction each year. For each month earlier than 3 years, 36 months before the FRA, the monthly rate of reduction is 0.5%. This equals a 5% reduction each year. The earliest a worker can claim retirement benefits is age 62. For a worker with an FRA of 67, claiming benefits at 62 results in a 30% reduction in their monthly benefit. Table 2 shows the actuarial reduction applied to retired worker benefits based on the FRA and the age at which benefits are claimed. 21. Table 2. Benefit reduction for early retirement by full retirement age, FRA. Delayed retirement credit for claiming benefits after the FRA. Workers who claim benefits after the FRA receive a delayed retirement credit, DRC. As with the actuarial reduction for early retirement, the delayed retirement credit is permanent. The DRC has been modified over the years. Initially, the Social Security amendments of 1972, 22, provided a delayed retirement credit that increased benefits by 0.125% for each month between ages 65 and 72 that a worker did not claim benefits, that is, 1% per year. The credit, which was effective after 1970, applied only to the worker's benefit. It did not apply to a widower's benefit. Payable on the worker's record. The Social Security amendments of 1977, 23, increased the credit to 3% per year and included the credit in the computation of a widower's benefit. The credit was further increased under the Social Security amendments of 1983.24 as shown in Table 3. The credit increases gradually based on the worker's year of birth until it reaches 8% per year, 2/3 of 1% per month, for workers born in 1943 or later, that is, workers who became eligible for retirement benefits or turned age 62 in 2005 or later. In addition, the maximum age at which the DRC applies was lowered from 72 to 70. Any further delay in claiming benefits past age 70 does not result in a higher benefit. The increase in the DRC was intended to ensure that workers who claim benefits after the FRA receive roughly the same total lifetime benefits as if they had claimed benefits earlier, based on average life expectancy. A worker with an FRA of 66, for example, receives a 32% benefit increase if he or she claims benefits at age 70. A worker with an FRA of 67 receives a 24% benefit increase. Table 3. Benefit increase for delayed retirement by birth year. Notes: persons born on January 1st of any year should refer to the previous year of birth. A. The total amount of credit at age 70 is available to retired workers who start to receive Social Security benefits at ages 70 or older under current law. Figure 1 illustrates the effect of claiming age on benefit levels based on an FRA of 66. If the worker claims retirement benefits at age 62, for example, his or her benefit would be equal to 75% of the full benefit amount, a 25% permanent reduction based on claiming retirement benefits 4 years before attaining the FRA. If the worker delays claiming retirement benefits until age 70, however, his or her benefit would be equal to 132% of the full benefit amount, a 32% permanent increase for claiming benefits 4 years after the FRA. Figure 1. Effect of claiming age on benefit levels. Based on an FRA of 66. Notes: PIA equals primary insurance amount. The PIA is the benefit payable to the worker at his or her FRA. Retirement earnings test. The decision to claim Social Security benefits before the FRA results in a permanent reduction in monthly benefits for early retirement. In addition, if a Social Security beneficiary is below the FRA and has current earnings, he or she is subject to the Retirement Earnings Test, RET. 25 stated generally, Social Security benefits are withheld partially or fully, for 1 or more months, if current earnings exceed specified thresholds. There are 2 separate earnings thresholds, or exempt amounts, under the RET. The first, lower threshold applies to beneficiaries who are below the FRA and will not attain the FRA during the year. In 2021, the lower earnings threshold is $18,960, 26. If a beneficiary has earnings that exceed the lower threshold, SSA withholds $1 of benefits for every $2 of earnings above the threshold. The second, higher threshold applies to beneficiaries who are below the FRA and will attain the FRA during the year. In 2021, the higher earnings threshold is $50,520. If a beneficiary has earnings that exceed the higher threshold, SSA withholds $1 of benefits for every $3 of earnings above the threshold. The RET no longer applies beginning with the month the beneficiary attains the FRA. In other words, once the beneficiary attains the FRA, his or her benefits are no longer subject to withholding based on earnings. 27. During the first year of benefit receipt, a special monthly earnings test applies. 28. Regardless of the amount of annual earnings in the first year of benefit receipt, benefits are not withheld for any month in which earnings do not exceed a monthly exempt amount. The monthly exempt amount is equal to 1/12 of the annual exempt amount. In 2021, the monthly exempt amounts are $1,580, $18,960 per 12, and $4,210, $50,520 per 12. For example, consider a worker who claims benefits at age 62 in January 2021 and has no earnings during the year except for a consulting project that pays $20,000 in July. Although the beneficiary's annual earnings $20,000 exceed the annual exempt amount $18,960, benefits are withheld only for the month of July. The beneficiary has $0 earnings in all other months. July is the only month in which earnings exceed the monthly exempt amount, $1,580. Benefits withheld under the RET are not lost on a permanent basis. When a beneficiary attains the FRA and is no longer subject to the RET, SSA automatically recalculates the benefit, taking into account any months for which benefits were partially or fully withheld under the RET. Stated generally, there is no actuarial reduction for early retirement for any month in which benefits were partially or fully withheld under the RET. The recalculation results in a higher monthly benefit going forward. 29. Starting at the FRA, the beneficiary begins to recoup the value of benefits withheld under the RET. The beneficiary recoups the full value of those benefits if he or she lives to average life expectancy. 30. Age distribution of new retired worker beneficiaries. Statistics published by SSA show that a majority of retired worker beneficiaries claim benefits before the FRA. 31. Figure 2 shows the age distribution of new retired worker beneficiaries in 2019. 32. Among nearly 2.7 million new retired worker beneficiaries that year, 33% claimed benefits at age 62, the first year of eligibility, and 60% were under the age of 66. About 1/4, 25%, of new retired worker beneficiaries claimed benefits at age 66, while 15% were age 67 or older. The percentage of retired worker beneficiaries who claim benefits at earlier ages has declined in recent years. In 2010, for example, more than 1/2, 52%, of new retired worker beneficiaries were age 62 and 81% were under the age of 66. 33. Figure 2. Age distribution of new retired worker beneficiaries in 2019. Note, figure does not include disabled worker beneficiaries who were automatically converted to retired worker beneficiaries upon attaining the FRA. Proposals to increase the retirement age. The Social Security full retirement age was 65 when the program was established in the 1930s. It remained 65 until 1983, when Congress included an increase in the FRA among many provisions in the Social Security amendments of 1983, 34, which were designed to address serious near-term and long-range financing problems. The 1983 amendments became law on April 20, 1983. Without legislative action, it was anticipated that Social Security benefits could not be paid on time beginning in July 1983. 35. The 1983 provision that increased the FRA from 65 to 67 continues to be phased in. It will be fully phased in by 2022. 36. Research suggests that increasing the FRA encourages many people to work longer and increase the average claiming age for Social Security benefits, thus shortening the duration of payments and reducing program cost, on average. 37. The Social Security system once again faces projected long-range funding shortfalls. The Social Security Board of Trustees, the trustees, projects that full Social Security benefits can be paid on time until 2035 with a combination of annual Social Security tax revenues and asset reserves held by the Social Security trust funds. After the projected depletion of combined trust fund reserves in 2035, however, annual tax revenues are projected to cover 79% of benefits scheduled under current law, declining to 73% by 2094. 38. Over the years, many proposals have been put forth to improve Social Security's financial outlook as well as achieve other policy goals. A common proposal is to increase the FRA, increase the EEA, or both. 39. As in the past, lawmakers who support increasing the retirement age point to gains in average life expectancy as an indicator that people can work until older ages. Table 4 displays the impacts of selected policy options on the actuarial adjustments to benefits for early or delayed retirement, that is, for claiming benefits before or after the FRA. Policy options in the table demonstrate a range of possible options that have been proposed to increase the retirement age, including the FRA only, the EEA only, and both. The actuarial adjustments are designed to provide a person with roughly the same total lifetime benefits regardless of the age at which he or she claims benefits, assuming the person lives to average life expectancy. Increasing the FRA would generally result in a larger actuarial reduction for early benefit claiming and a smaller actuarial increase for delayed benefit claiming at each claiming age. For example, if the FRA increased from age 67 to age 69 while the EEA was kept at age 62, the actuarial reduction to monthly benefits at age 62 would increase from 30% to 40%, while the delayed benefit credit at age 70 would decrease from 24% to 8%. Table 4. Selected options for increasing the retirement age. Benefit reduction and delayed retirement credit applied to monthly benefits at the full retirement age. FRA by claiming age. Actuarial reduction negative and delayed retirement credit to monthly benefits. Notes: dashes mean data is not available. Actuarial reduction to monthly benefits are in parentheses. FRA is the full retirement age and EEA is the earliest eligibility age. A. Under current law, the FRA is 67 and EEA is 62 for beneficiaries born in 1960 and later. B. See part of the provisions in SSA Retirement Age Option C1.4. Option C1.4 would continue to increase THEFRA after it reached age 69. C. See SSA Retirement Age Options C1.6 and C1.7. Options may differ in the effective dates and other provisions. D. See SSA Retirement Age Options C2.1. E. See SSA Retirement Age Options C2.5, C2.6, and C2.7. Options may differ in the effective dates and other provisions. F. See the Social Security Solvency and Sustainability Act, S. 3234, 116th Congress. Proposals to increase the FRA but not the EEA. Over the years, deficit reduction commissions and other policymakers have recommended increasing the Social Security FRA but keeping the EEA at age 62. As shown in Table 4, increasing the FRA only would result in a lower benefit payable at most claiming ages. Some people whose life expectancy are projected to increase in the future might work longer and delay benefit claiming in response to increases in the FRA. Those people with delayed benefit claiming are expected to spend as many years in retirement as earlier cohorts who would have claimed benefits at younger ages. However, others who do not expect an increase in life expectancy might claim benefits early and live on a lower monthly benefit, due to a larger actuarial reduction, for the rest of their lives. For example, beneficiaries who claim benefits at age 62 would receive a 40% actuarial reduction if the FRA increased to 69, compared to 30% under current law, see Table 4. Increasing the FRA would generally improve Social Security's long-range financial status, as people would, on average, work longer, delay benefit claiming, and receive benefit payments for a shorter duration compared to current law. The degree to which those proposals would affect Social Security's financial status, however, depends on the rate at which the FRA would increase and whether the proposal would extend the maximum eligibility age for DRCs. Recent proposals, for example, include the SOS Act of 2016 H.R. 5747, the 114th Congress which proposed increasing the FRA among other changes. Under the proposal, after the FRA reaches 67 for those attaining 62 in 2022, the FRA would have increased by 2 months per year until the FRA reaches 69 for those attaining 62 in 2034. Thereafter, the FRA would have increased 1 month every year. SSA's Office of the Chief Actuary (OCACT) projects that this option would improve the Social Security Trust Fund outlook by eliminating 38% of the system's projected long-range funding shortfall, based on the 2020 annual report of the Social Security Board of Trustees, Intermediate Assumptions. 40. A similar proposal, the Social Security Reform Act of 2016 H.R. 6489, the 114th Congress, among other changes, would have increased the FRA by 3 months per year starting for those attaining age 62 in 2023 until it reaches 69 for those attaining age 62 in 2030. This proposal would also have increased the age up to which DRCs might be earned from 70 to 72 on the same schedule. OCACT estimates that this option would improve the Social Security Trust Fund outlook by eliminating 30% of the system's projected long-range funding shortfall, based on the 2020 annual report of the Social Security Board of Trustees, Intermediate Assumptions. 41. Another proposal from the Bipartisan Policy Center in 2016 recommended, among other changes, to increase the FRA on a much slower schedule, by 1 month every 2 years after the FRA reaches 67 for those attaining age 62 in 2022 until the FRA reaches 69, and also to increase the age up to which the DRC may be earned at the same rate, from 70 to 72. OCACT estimates that this option would improve the Social Security Trust Fund outlook by eliminating 18% of the system's projected long-range funding shortfall, based on the 2020 annual report of the Social Security Board of Trustees, Intermediate Assumptions. 42. Proposals to increase the EEA but not the FRA. Similar to increasing the FRA, proposals to increase only the EEA are also motivated by the findings that average lifespans have lengthened. These proposals may also be motivated by the findings that early benefit claiming may result in lower Social Security benefits and a higher poverty rate in older ages. Research found that the introduction of the EEA in 1961 was associated with a lower average claiming age and, consequently, a reduction in Social Security benefits and an increase in the poverty rate among elderly male-headed households. 43. Under the proposal in Table 4 to increase the EEA only, workers between the current EEA, that is, age 62, and the new EEA, for example, 64, would no longer be eligible for Social Security retirement benefits. This policy would cause many Social Security beneficiaries between the ages of 62 and the new EEA to claim benefits later than they otherwise would and increase their monthly benefits due to a smaller actuarial reduction. See Table 4. Increasing only the EEA, however, may also create financial hardship for individuals between the ages of 62 and the new EEA who have difficulty working beyond age 62, such as those with chronic medical conditions. 44. Unlike proposals to increase only the FRA, which would generally improve the Social Security Trust Fund outlook, policy options to increase only the EEA would generate some program savings in the short run, but would be projected to increase the Social Security program outlays in the long run and make the long-range funding status worse relative to current law. In the short run, the Social Security program may achieve some savings from delayed retirements, but in the long run the subsequent higher monthly benefits would be estimated to more than offset the savings from delayed claiming. In 2012, the Congressional Budget Office (CBO) estimated that raising the EEA from 62 to 64 by 2025 would generate $144 billion in savings through 2021, but long-run program outlays would be slightly larger than current law after 2035. 45. The AARP Public Policy Institute proposed to increase the EEA by 2 months per year from age 62 to 65. 46. OCACT estimates that if the AARP proposal applied to those aged 62 starting in 2022 until the EEA reached age 65 for those aged 62 in 2039, the long-range funding shortfall would increase by 3%, based on the 2020 annual report of the Social Security Board of Trustees, Intermediate Assumptions. 47. Proposals to increase both the FRA and the EEA. Some proposals would increase the EEA and the FRA simultaneously, keeping a 5-year difference between the EEA and the FRA as under current law. Under those proposals, Social Security benefits would generally be lower at each claiming age, the maximum actuarial reduction rate would be the same as under current law, and benefits would not be available for workers aged 62 to the new EEA. See Table 4. Increasing both the EEA and the FRA would avoid the situation in which benefits for early claiming could be reduced by as much as 40%, but it would also create challenges for workers between the ages of 62 and the new EEA who have health or employment circumstances that limit their ability to work at or past age 62. OCACT estimated the cost for a variety of proposals that would increase both the FRA and the EEA. A larger and faster increase in the FRA would generally result in a larger decrease in the projected Social Security funding shortfall. For example, one proposal would increase both the FRA and the EEA by 3 months per year starting for those attaining age 62 in 2021 until the FRA reaches 69 for those attaining age 62 in 2030 and the EEA reaches 64 for those attaining age 62 in 2028. OCACT estimates that this option would improve the Social Security Trust Fund outlook by eliminating 26% of the system's projected long-range funding shortfall, based on the 2020 annual report of the Social Security Board of Trustees, Intermediate Assumptions. 48. Under another proposal, the FRA would increase by 3 months per year starting for those aged 62 in 2021 until it reaches age 70 for those attaining age 62 in 2034 and then increase 1 month every 2 years to maintain a constant ratio of expected retirement years to potential working years. 49. This option would also increase the EEA from age 62 to 64 at the same time as the FRA increases from 67 to 69. OCACT estimates that this option would improve the Social Security Trust Fund outlook by eliminating 47% of the system's projected long-range funding shortfall, based on the 2020 annual report of the Social Security Board of Trustees, Intermediate Assumptions. 50. Concerns regarding an increase in the retirement age. Supporters of increasing the retirement age contend that the average life expectancy is increasing, health conditions of older workers are improving, and job characteristics are more suitable for older workers. Opponents of increasing the retirement age often argue that gains in life expectancy, health status, and job characteristics have not been equally distributed across individuals with different characteristics such as sex, race, educational attainment, or income level. Therefore, increasing the retirement age may adversely affect Social Security benefits for some workers, particularly among low-wage workers or lower-educated workers. Another concern surrounding an increase in the retirement age is that it would likely encourage some workers with health problems to apply for Social Security disability benefits, which would likely increase enrollment and costs for that component of the Social Security program. Increasing the retirement age may also result in some older workers becoming more vulnerable to unemployment risks because they would be no longer eligible for Social Security retirement benefits. Life expectancy. Policymakers who support increasing the retirement age point to gains in average life expectancy as an indicator that people can work until older ages. For example, the FRA was 65 for those who turned age 62 in 1999, and age 65 in 2002, and will increase to 67 for those turning 62 in 2022, and 67 in 2027. Between 2002 and 2030, the remaining life expectancy at age 65 increased by 2.9 years for men to 18.8 years, and 2.3 years for women to 21.3 years. 51. Social Security's trustees, using their intermediate assumptions, project that by 2050, remaining life expectancy will grow by another 2.0 years for men to 20.1 years, and 1.8 years for women to 22.4 years. 52. Thus, if the FRA increased from 67 to 69 for those turning 69 in 2050, people who retired at age 69 in 2050 would on average spend about as many years in retirement as those who will retire at age 67 in 2030 and those who retired at age 65 in 2002. 53. Those who oppose an increase in the retirement age, however, point out that the general increase in the average U.S. life expectancy has flattened or even slightly declined in recent years. For example, the remaining life expectancy at age 65 decreased from 19.4 years, 18.0 for men and 20.6 for women, in 2014 to 19.3 years, 18.0 for men and 20.5 for women, in 2015. 54. The average life expectancy at birth also decreased from 78.9 years in 2014 to 78.6 years in 2017. 55. A news article has suggested that the ongoing coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19 pandemic might result in more death in 2020 than the prior year. 56. However, it is still unclear to what extent COVID-19 will affect the mortality rate in the future. 57. Additionally, gains in life expectancy have not been shared equally across different segments of the population. Opponents cite research showing that life expectancy is lower for individuals with lower socioeconomic status, that is, less education and lower earnings, and that the gap in life expectancy by socioeconomic status has been growing over time. 58. Differential gains in life expectancy are important in the context of Social Security. The actuarial adjustments to benefits for early or delayed retirement, that is, for claiming benefits before or after the FRA, are based on average life expectancy. That is, the actuarial adjustments are designed to provide a person with roughly the same total lifetime benefits regardless of the age at which he or she claims benefits, assuming the person lives to average life expectancy. Research has shown that differential gains in life expectancy have resulted in a widening gap in the value of lifetime Social Security retirement benefits between low earners and high earners. 59. Health status. Statistics have shown that healthier older people are generally more likely to work. 60. Older Americans can work longer today than in the past, partly because they are generally healthier today than they were 5 decades ago. Research based on the data from the National Health Interview Survey found that, between 1972 and 2000, the share of individuals aged 55 to 61 reporting fair or poor health fell from 25.5% to 17.2%, and the share for those aged 62 to 65 fell from 28.6% to 20.0%. 61. However, the trend in health status is ambiguous among older workers in the most recent 2 decades. 62. It is also not clear how health status will change in coming decades. Opponents of increasing the retirement age argue that the improvement in health status was unequally distributed among the population. Researchers have found that, among older people, health problems are concentrated among those of color and those with limited education. 63. One study, using data for non-Hispanic whites, suggests that more educated people can achieve better health by accessing better health insurance, adopting better health behaviors such as not smoking and engaging in vigorous exercise, and taking advantage of the benefits of improving medical technology. 64. One study also shows that higher-income Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have better health than members of their groups with less income. 65. Therefore, an increase in the retirement age might adversely affect some lower-income, lower-educated minority individuals whose health problems limit their ability to work into older ages. Additionally, many older workers may develop work-limiting disabilities in older ages. One study found that, among a sample of workers aged 51 to 55 without work limitations in the Health and Retirement Study (HRS), 35% of them developed an impairment or health problem by age 65 that limited the type of work they could do. The study also found that non-Hispanic Blacks and lower-educated workers were more likely to develop work limitations during older ages. 66. An increase in the retirement age would likely encourage workers with health problems to apply for public disability benefits, such as Social Security Disability Insurance (Ssdi). 67. Ssdi is part of Social Security and provides benefits to non-elderly insured workers who meet the statutory definition of disability and to their eligible dependents. 68. Generally, disabled workers can gain financially by collecting Ssdi benefits even after they qualify for early retirement benefits, because Ssdi benefits are not subject to the actuarial reduction. 69. The incentive to apply for Ssdi benefits rises as a gap between the EEA and the FRA increases and as the EEA increases. Some researchers have suggested that the increase in the FRA from 65 to 66 in the first half of the 2000s slightly increased Ssdi applications. 70. Researchers also built their analysis on the assumption that early claimers for Social Security would move to Ssdi if the EEA increases. 71. However, not all workers with health problems or work-related limitations can receive disability benefits. One study showed that more than half of workers aged 50 to 64 in the bottom 20% of the functionability distribution did not receive any disability-related benefit. 72. Another study estimated that about 11% of individuals aged 62 to 64 were not working, had health problems, were not collecting Ssdi, and were collecting Social Security retirement benefits in 2014. 73. If the retirement age increased, then work-limited individuals who do not qualify for disability benefits might have to wait longer to apply for Social Security retirement benefits under an increase in the EEA, or receive a larger actuarial reduction due to early retirement under an increase in the FRA only. Job characteristics. Over the past 4 decades, the workplace has generally become less physically demanding, which has been considered to be a trend more suitable for older workers to remain employed. One study found that the shares of workers in jobs requiring workers to engage in moderate or strenuous physical activities decreased from 57% in 1971 to 46% in 2006. 74. However, relatively small changes were found based on data in the recent 2 decades. For example, one study, using the data from the HRS, found that about 34% of workers aged 55 to 65 reported that their jobs required substantial physical effort in 1998, and the share remained the same in 2014. 75. Despite the fact that the physical demands faced by older workers generally declined in the past few decades, older workers with limited education are more likely to work in physically demanding jobs than those with relatively more years of education. One study found that, in 2014, 49% of workers aged 55 to 65 who did not attend college reported physically demanding jobs in the HRS, compared to 26% of those who attended college. In the same year, 23% of workers aged 55 to 65 who did not attend college were employed in jobs requiring heavy lifting, compared to 10% of those who attended college. 76. The 2015 American Working Conditions Survey also found similar statistics. A larger percentage of individuals aged 50 and older without a college degree than those with a college degree worked in jobs involving moving heavy loads or people, tiring or painful positions, or standing. 77. Older workers who find it difficult to continue with physically demanding jobs may apply for Social Security retirement as early as age 62, the EEA under current law. Studies have found that early beneficiaries aged 62 to 64 who had health problems are more likely to work in blue-collar jobs than white-collar jobs in their most recent employment prior to retirement, 78. And a majority of early male retirees are in poorer health and have higher mortality risk than those who retire at age 65 and older. 79. Therefore, those early retirees who have work-related health impairment and relatively shorter life expectancy would be disadvantaged under an increase in the EEA, the FRA, or both, assuming they do not qualify for Social Security disability benefits. Labor market conditions. Statistics show that older workers are generally less likely than younger workers to become unemployed, but job layoffs are common for the older workforce and are more likely among workers with fewer years of education. According to the HRS, 30% of workers aged 51 to 55 became unemployed by age 65, including 36% of those with no high school diploma and 26% of those with 4 or more years of college education, 80. Additionally, studies found that older workers generally experience longer spells of unemployment than younger workers. 81. Research based on field experiments also found that older workers are less likely to be called back for interviews than younger workers with similar qualifications. 82. Unemployed workers may qualify for unemployment insurance benefits, 83. But displaced workers aged 62 and older may also collect Social Security benefits to help them meet current expenses, especially during economic recessions. One study showed that, between 2008 and 2011, 83% of unemployed workers aged 62 and older collected Social Security benefits 6 months after layoff. 84. Another study found that, in 2007, the year before the Great Recession of 2007 to 2009, 33.5% of fully insured men and 36.3% of fully insured women chose to claim Social Security retirement benefits at age 62. 85. These figures increased in 2009 when those born in 1947 turned 62, when the recession hit a low point, as 35.8% of fully insured men and 38.9% of fully insured women started receiving benefits at age 62. 86. Increasing the retirement age would make those unemployed workers aged 62 and older either no longer eligible for Social Security retirement benefits under an increase in the EEA, or subject to a larger permanent actuarial reduction in monthly benefits for the rest of their lives if they claimed benefits at or close to EEA, under an increase in the FRA only. Addressing concerns about increasing the retirement age. Concerns regarding the effects of increasing the retirement age, especially on certain segments of the population, are not new. The Social Security amendments of 1983, which increased the retirement age gradually from 65 to 67, mandated a study to examine the effects of increasing the retirement age on workers in physically demanding jobs or ill health. 87. To address the concerns that increasing the retirement age may result in financial hardship for some older Americans, policymakers and researchers have suggested some possible approaches that could accompany an increase in the retirement age and might offer certain income protections to vulnerable older adults. Some of those approaches would make changes to the Social Security retirement program, and some would modify other programs. Possible approaches under the Social Security retirement system. To address concerns regarding the effects of increasing the retirement age on some older Americans, some policymakers and researchers propose exempting certain groups of individuals from an increase in the retirement age. For example, recognizing that some workers may be physically unable to work beyond the current EEA 62, and may not qualify for Social Security disability benefits. In 2010, the National Commission on Fiscal Responsibility and Reform, also called the Simpson-Bowles Commission after co-chairs Alan Simpson and Erskine Bowles, recommended a hardship exemption for up to 20% of retirees in conjunction with proposed increases in the EEA and FRA. Under the proposal, as the EEA and FRA increase, certain beneficiaries with 25 years of employment and low lifetime earnings could continue to claim benefits at age 62, and their benefits would not be subject to additional actuarial reductions. 88. The Commission specified that SSA would design the policy taking into consideration factors such as the physical demands of labor and lifetime earnings in developing eligibility criteria. 89. Special rules based on years of work and average lifetime earnings. As discussed above, the Simpson-Bowles Commission recommended workers with low lifetime earnings and significant employment be exempt from an increase in the retirement age. researchers who supported similar proposals argued that workers at high risk of hardship and with low life expectancy tend to have low lifetime earnings. 90. Setting the retirement age based on average lifetime earnings and employment attachment, however, may result in some significant assistance flow to people who are not at risk of hardship. One study suggested that this policy may offer a better retirement option to certain beneficiaries, such as women, who tend to have lower lifetime earnings but longer life expectancy, as well as some secondary earners in the household who have lower lifetime earnings but can receive a higher household standard of living based on the benefits from primary earners in the household. 91. Researchers also indicated that workers with significant earnings not covered by Social Security may be exempt from this option. 92. So those workers would not be treated the same as beneficiaries who have low lifetime earnings and whose employment is all covered by Social Security. 93. Special rules based on physically demanding jobs. Special pension provisions that allow early retirement for workers in certain physically demanding jobs are a feature of public pension systems in many countries. One study found that 18 nations in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD) allowed workers engaged in hazardous or arduous employment to collect public retirement benefits at relatively young ages. 94. The definition of hazardous or arduous is generally different for each country and could include miners, armed forces, firefighters, police officers, airline pilots, and train drivers. The hardships in a hazardous or arduous work environment can be physical, mental, or some combination. Some hardships can result in deterioration in workers' health, a loss of productivity, or lower life expectancy, and some others can make it difficult for workers to continue to carry out the same job or remain in the same occupation when they age. Pensions with different retirement ages in certain occupations usually provide benefits based on length of service, such as 30 years of service in an occupation. 95. Establishing different Social Security program rules, in this case, a different eligibility age for retirement benefits, for workers in certain occupations, however, may raise several issues. For example, it may be difficult to determine, in a fair and equitable way, which specific occupations should be designated as allowing workers to claim retirement benefits at younger ages relative to the rest of the Social Security covered workforce, especially if retirement benefits for those workers are not subject to reduction or further reduction based on claiming age. One study found that the types of demanding jobs with early retirement treatment vary greatly across countries, ranging from those that are inherently dangerous, such as underground mining, to those that generally are not performed by workers at older ages. Airline pilots, for example, are subject to a mandatory retirement age, and those that are culturally protected, such as bullfighters and musicians. 96. Additionally, studies indicated that early retirement from demanding occupations might cause high disincentives to continue working. 97. And increase the cost of the pension system. 98. Moreover, researchers have also suggested that allowing early retirement in demanding occupations might discourage investment in technological improvements that aim to reduce the demanding nature of those jobs. 99. Possible approaches outside the Social Security retirement system. Recognizing that certain groups of older workers might be financially vulnerable under an increase in the retirement age, some researchers have suggested making improvements to programs outside the Social Security retirement system to provide income support to some older workers. Those approaches usually target a specific group of older workers. Supplemental Security Income (SSI). Some researchers suggest changes to the SSI program to expand eligibility for SSI benefits for the aged. Ssdi is a needs-based public assistance program that provides monthly cash benefits to the aged, blind, or disabled. 100. SSI benefits for the aged are available to individuals aged 65 and older. Some researchers have proposed lowering the SSI eligibility age for aged beneficiaries from age 65 to 62 if the Social Security EEA were raised. 101. Expanding SSI eligibility for the aged would allow some workers who cannot work past age 62 and who have difficulty meeting their basic living expenses to qualify for a monthly cash benefit from the SSI program. To qualify for SSI, a person's countable income and resources, gross income and resources minus all applicable exclusions, must be within certain limits. 102. Therefore, this approach would target those individuals at early retirement ages with little or no income and very limited assets. Social Security Disability Insurance (Ssdi). Some suggest modifying the Ssdi program to expand eligibility for certain older workers with severe health conditions that limit their ability to work. One possible option is to eliminate the employment requirement prior to the onset of disability for those aged 62 and older under an increase of the retirement age. 103. Under current law, to be eligible for Ssdi, workers must have worked in jobs covered by Social Security for about a quarter of their adult lives and for at least 5 of the 10 years prior to the onset of disability. 104. One study shows that about half of Social Security retirement beneficiaries who were aged 62 to 64 and had severe work limitations did not meet the prior employment requirement, also known as a recency of work test. 105. Under this policy option, older workers with work-related health impairments who have worked for decades and left the labor force for a few years before the onset of disability might qualify for Ssdi benefits. Another potential option is to simplify the disability determination process for those aged 62 and older if the retirement age increases. Under current law, an Ssdi applicant would not receive benefits if he or she could perform work that exists in the national economy, taking into consideration his or her age, education, and work experience. 106. Some researchers propose eliminating this step in the disability determination for those aged 62 and older under an increase of the retirement age. 107. Evidence shows that more than 80% of Ssdi applicants aged 50 and older who were denied disability benefits based on the ability to perform work had no earnings in the 5 years after the determination. 108. Under this policy change, older workers aged 62 and older who have qualified work-related health impairment and could not perform past related work might receive Ssdi benefits. These changes in eligibility rules would likely increase the number of Ssdi awards and program outlays, thus affecting the program solvency. 109. Unemployment insurance (UI). Others suggest extending UI for older workers. As noted earlier, older workers tend to have longer unemployment spells than younger workers, and many displaced older workers choose to claim Social Security retirement benefits at the EEA to compensate for the loss of earnings. To reduce the potential negative impact of increasing the Social Security retirement age on those older workers, researchers have suggested extending UI benefits from the current 26 weeks to 52 weeks for displaced older workers. 110. Researchers have also pointed out that extending UI benefits may discourage job search efforts among older workers. 111. Employment services and training programs. Researchers also argue that expanding access to employment services and training opportunities could help promote work for older adults and cushion the impact of raising the Social Security EEA. The current federal support for employment and job training targeted to older adults is limited. For example, the Senior Community Service Employment Program authorizes the U.S. Department of Labor to make grants to support part-time community service employment opportunities for eligible individuals who are aged 55 or older, low income, and unemployed. In fiscal year 2019, appropriations for these programs were $400 million and supported approximately 41,000 positions. 112. In addition, the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, WIOA, PL 113-28, is the primary federal law that supports workforce development. Workforce development programs provide a combination of education and training services to prepare adult individuals at all ages for work and to help them improve their prospects in the labor market. 113. From April 2018 to March 2019, about 141,500 individuals aged 55 or older, or about 17% of participants at all ages, were served by WIOA adult and dislocated worker programs, and 5,604 adults aged 55 or older received training, or 6.5% of those received training at all ages under the WIOA adult program. 114. However, evidence is limited in determining if these programs can adequately address the challenges created by increasing the Social Security retirement age. Research also suggests that more federal support might be needed to improve employment opportunities for low-skilled older workers. 115. Author information. J. Lee, Analyst in Social Policy. Acknowledgements. The previous author of the report was CRS specialist Don Nuschler. An earlier version was written by former CRS analysts Wayne Liu and Allison Shelton.